We're back on MorningLine. Thanks for joining us. James Smallwood's with us. He's president of the Nashville Fraternal Order of Police, taking some calls and discussing with him, as you see on the screen there, issues facing police, Metro Police Department in this case. And let's get back to the phone lines. Next up, we've got Candy. Good morning, Candy. Hi, Candy.
Hi, good morning, and good morning to your guests.
Good morning.
I just have a question about the policemen.
Okay.
Why is it that in the neighborhood, metro area, north, south, they always ripping and running through here, stopping people. And then I'm driving, I live near Green Hills and Brentwood. You don't see one police driving around. I just want to know, are they targeting the blacks out in here? And I have another question. Why is it that the policemen, when they stop someone, I know you have some crazy people out there, it takes like 3 to 4 policemen to hold a person down. I just want to ask that question. You know, it could be the media while I'm seeing, but if he could answer that, I appreciate it. And you all have a good day.
All right, thank you. I don't know. How do you want to handle that?
So policing strategies are held are conducted by the police department.
About where you patrol.
About where we patrol. And I don't speak for the police department, I speak for the police officers. But I'm comfortable enough to say that the police department puts officers in areas where high crime is occurring.
Okay.
So they look at a map, and the map's got different heat levels showing where crime is more prevalent than others, and they direct their officers to go patrol in those areas. So are we targeting certain people? No, we're targeting crime. We can't help what people are in that area. That has no bearing on what we're doing. We're saying, hey, there's a lot of crime here. We need to go over here and try and deter that crime.
Okay.
On the traffic stop thing, why it takes 3 or 4 officers to do a traffic stop, I imagine.
Or I don't know if she meant to subdue someone if there's a scuffle. And
yeah, I mean, if somebody's resisting, it may take more than 1 officer to control that suspect. That's just the nature of things when people want to fight the police. But without looking at those cases on an individual case-by-case basis, it's hard for me to explain why we're doing what we are.
All right, let's go to James next. Good morning, James. What's on your mind? Hi, James. Are you there, James? Thought we had him on too, but we'll just put him on hold. We'll go next to Terry. Hi, Terry. Go ahead. Or no, this is, yeah, Tony. No, Cheryl. Cheryl, are you there, Cheryl? I'm sorry.
That's all right, Nick. Are you there?
Yeah, I got you now. You go ahead. I got confused there. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you remember or not, but I am from White County, where I live, and I can't hear you, Nick.
Okay, well, go ahead. What's your comment?
Okay. Well, we no longer have that sheriff. And, you know, when we call, it takes, well, when we had that sheriff, nobody would come. And it takes forever. They're so short-handed here. And, you know, the city of Nashville is talking, the people are talking about having this committee. Now, don't you think that would be a good thing for our county here?
Well, you wonder if other counties will look at that. It all depends. I mean, there are already layers. It comes down to the effectiveness of the idea, and to me, the cost. And you do not ignore the cost. And that comes to the body cameras, by the way. I'm not philosophically against body cameras. I've heard from a lot of people that talk about the benefits of body cameras, and I'm open to that idea. It looks like Metro's going that route. But the costs, everyone wants stuff. And then when it comes time to pay for it, give me an idea in your mind, the idea of body cameras on officers. Do you guys like the idea if it works right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we think it's going to show our officers doing what they're supposed to be doing on a regular basis.
So you're not against it, but we're talking about $15 million up front, right?
So our concern has always been the economic impact. $15 million up front, that's a low number. It doesn't account for any of the staffing required on, on the police department.
From the DA, how many he's going to need,
and the storage cost is where the majority of the cost of this is, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger as time goes on. So you can look to a $30 or $40 million budget.
Yes, and then you have to talk about the policies that are involved with, all right, who will the video be released to? When is it available in court? You know, where is it stored? Who gets it? All those types of things too. That I just think that, you know, a lot of people are saying that the idea of a body camera came about, you know, obviously with some of these officer-involved shootings, and people wanted this, and it can really, you know, add light to it. But it was a knee-jerk reaction, a lot of people saying, simply because, yeah, good idea, but are you ready to pay for it and implement it properly? And if not, you're just wasting a bunch of money.
Sure.
And You know, the folks all hip to it. You ready for $40 million?
Yeah, because the money's got to come from somewhere.
And so even if it's a great idea, do you believe that kind of money, when you're as short-staffed as you are, is well spent on what type of return you'll get from body cameras, which you think are going to show officers behaving properly anyway?
Absolutely.
Is it that big? I would say body cameras would be a great idea if it's catching a bunch of wrongdoing. You know, if that's not going to happen, are you getting the bang for the buck?
Well, the question the community has to ask themselves is the return on the investment going to be worth what they pay for it? And is $30 or $40 million worth showing the community what they already know? Their police officers are going out there and put their lives on the line every day and protecting the community and doing their jobs the right way. That's a decision for the taxpayers in Nashville to make.
All right, let's go next then. I think we've got Terry. Hi, Terry, are you there?
Good morning, Nick. How are y'all?
Good. Go ahead, Terry.
I have a couple of comments and then a couple of questions.
Okay.
I actually work in law enforcement in a neighboring county for the local sheriff's office. As far as the young lady talking about 3 or 4 officers subduing someone, I truly wish we had that kind of personnel and that kind of help. They have to understand, the public needs to understand, our number 1 goal is for us to go home safe every day. Our number 2 goal is for our constituents, our public, to go home safe every day. Now, sometimes that involves using the use of force, but that use of force is necessary to subdue someone. If we go to a residence and say, you're under arrest, and they say, look, I don't want to go, we can't say, okay, we'll come back next week.
No, I got you on that.
We have a job.
I got you. But move on. That's obvious. That's obvious. What's your question?
My question is, how much is this oversight committee going to cost?
Yeah, okay, that's a fair question. That's what we're just, monies. And you're worried about how much it's going to cost?
Right, because every community is wanting to go to these oversight committees, but we also have to understand we have budgets as far as a community and like us as a county that we have to stay within, and the budget is tight as it is.
Yeah, I agree. You got to balance it.
I appreciate your time, and
sure.
Mr. Smallwood, y'all keep leading the fight. Thank you.
Thanks for your call. I mean, he's right. Again, the best idea is that you have to always, like it or not, balance that with the cost and the return. So, FOP, as you look at it, what is your take on the cost of this oversight committee if it were to occur?
So, it is budgeting $1.5 million out of the charter and allowing the council to decide what, if any, above that it should be paid out. The first projected budget from the Civilian Oversight Board is already over budget. It's at 1.8, I think 1.88 million, if I remember correctly.
Per year?
That's just the initial year. And then from then on, as many other government agencies do, that budget will likely grow. So there's a big concern in how much it's going to cost, again, our Nashville taxpayers to have a redundant program.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to have to come down to whether or not you approve the idea. And I think most people, maybe on its surface, will say, yes, oversight committee, just like body cameras, good idea, maybe for their perspective. But then ask yourself about the cost. And these things get passed, and then all of a sudden when they pass, just passing it doesn't mean it's going to happen. Then it's going to be funding it. Yeah. And where's the money going to come from? And are you ready to vote for the tax increase that may have to pay for that? Or are you ready to sign off on certain monies being taken from other departments for, I'm not advocating one way or the other on the idea, but I'm a big advocate of making sure you can pay for these things when you pass them. Otherwise, what the heck's the point?
And I think it's important to point out that if there was a group of community leaders that wanted to have a civilian oversight review board to send recommendations to the department and to the mayor's office, they could do this without a city budget through Freedom of Information Act requests. The department's pretty much an open book unless Tennessee state statute closes that book on them. So is it necessary to spend nearly $2 million on something that we can do for free?
All right, let's go to Tony. Tony, good morning. Hi, Tony.
Good morning, Nick.
What's on your mind?
I wanted to ask him, now the mayor on one of your shows told me to go to the oversight committee out there on Murfreesboro Road about a complaint. with these officers investigating my robbery case. The same officers investigating the robbery case is the supervisors and the ones responsible for investigating the robbery report. In other words, they took the initial report. So that's a conflict. And that officer right there knows that. How you going to investigate your own department and not knowing time to fires as you keep saying? It didn't even get that time to fires. And the second thing I want to know, when I was at DOC and I worked checkpoint, these officers are carrying a huge amount of contraband in their cars, glove compartments under the seat. They don't even turn it into the evidence department, especially these small counties. And Davidson County police officer was notorious for not surrendering their weapons when they come on state property. They wanted to hold the weapons, they didn't want to turn them in, and they refused to comply with our rules and regulations. In other words, they waited on us down the road to give us tickets when we left. They were so angry. So this officer knows there's a conflict going on in this police department.
Maybe as we go to the break, I mean, I don't know about that second comment of his, but the first one about the concern maybe some citizens have about the police department investigating themselves, and they just don't trust it.
Sure. Show me a case where it's been done wrong, and we'll be happy to look at it and provide some sort of an explanation. I know the police department, if they feel like they've been slighted or the case has not been judged properly, they're happy to look at anything that somebody brings to them. Again, there's other avenues to appeal to, whether it be the mayor's office or the district attorney's office. Sometimes, in certain scenarios, we just haven't done anything wrong and people aren't happy with that response. So to the second end, we have policies and procedures in place about property and the way it gets turned in, and I'm certain that we adhere to those policies, and when officers don't, they're held accountable.
All right, on that note, we'll take a break. We'll be back. Our final segment with the president of the Nashville Fraternal Order of Police right after this. Stay with us.